I enjoy musicals. I'll admit it. Like a fun musical every once in a while, I'm on board. And one of my personal favorites is Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street. The Tim Burton version is a lot of fun. I really do enjoy this movie. So, plot, well, Sweeney Todd, formerly Benjamin Barker, was then was sentenced to transportation to Australia, and because a corrupt judge wanted his wife. And now, like 10 years later, he actually it's almost 20 years later. Maybe it's 20 years later. I digress. He is coming back, a very changed man, under the guise of Sweeney Todd, and is looking for some good old-fashioned revenge. And he wants to do this by, well, taking his razors to the people who wronged him, particularly the Judge Tarpon and the Beetle Bailey. No, not Bailey. That's a comic. What do I think? And Beetle Bamford. Wow. Yes, he fights Beetle Bailey. Okay. Anyway, I. Ugh. So, meanwhile, his friend that essentially found him and helped escort him back to London, is then trying to find his way, and he catches sight of Joanna, the ward of Judge Tarpon, and the erstwhile daughter of Mr. Todd. So he's determined to steal away with Joanna, while Mr. Todd is determined to find him and cut his filthy throat. Now, to do this, he sets up his old shop, and which is right above a meat pie shop run by Mrs. Lovett, a woman who already had a crush on him back then, realizes who he is, and rekindles her crush. Now, there is a lot of great actors in this film, and as this impending tragedy begins to play out, the movie is definitely a dark drama, but there's so many lighthearted comedic moments. The comedic moments definitely add a little bit of levity to it, otherwise very dark and depressing series of events. Johnny Depp plays Sweeney Todd perfectly, while Helena Bonham Carter is Mrs. Lovett. And those two do play off each other very well in this. They do have pretty good chemistry of mostly him trying to ignore her while she's all upon him. And I guess I didn't mention this in the plot description. She's the one who helps him dispose of his victims by, well, meat's hard to come by these days. Waste not. And Judge Tarpon is played by the late Alan Rickman, which, hearing him sing, I didn't know was something I needed in my life, but he does it, and he does it well. And Timothy Spall then does Beetle Bamford. Now, that is a lot of Harry Potter cast right there. Johnny Depp, Helena Bonham Carter, Alan Rickman, and Timothy Spall. So, cast meetup. I think there might have been one other person also. I can't quite recall. And Sacha Baron Cohen has a small role in this as well, and a great lighthearted moment. So, it's a fun movie. I love the songs. They are very catchy. And I watched this movie about a week ago now. I am catching up. And the songs have yet to leave my head. I will say the original writer / score maker for the stage play, Stephen Sondheim, is notoriously... He does not let a lot of adaptations go for his works, and he keeps a very tight rein on things. But he actually did give a lot of approvals to this one, and actually says that this is the favorite adaptations of any of his works. And I can see why. The cinematography is beautiful in this movie. The way a dreary London is just portrayed in this, and It's a very dark and gray, grungy-looking movie, but it's supposed to be. It adds to this era of just decay that in this area of city, and as Sweeney moves in to essentially start cleaning up. And when he can't get his wanted victims into his chair, well, he begins just taking out on anyone who does that he can get away with. So he begins just taking victims. Meanwhile, they also have then taken a young kid by the name of Toby, who was before working for Sacha Baron Cohen's character, but after he gets Sweeney Todded, uh, they now are stuck with this kid who Mrs. Lovett does start having a soft spot for. My one nitpick in this movie, I guess, is when there's kind of a logic jump for Toby running errands for the group, and then all of a sudden is suddenly wary of Mr. Todd. Maybe it was just because he was running a very suspicious letter to Judge Turpin, but his jump from being very into this whole family to all of a sudden distrusting Sweeney came to me out of nowhere. But it's just a minor nitpick. I really did enjoy this movie. It's a good favorite to come back to every now and again. 9 MacGuffins for me. It's not perfect, but it is very good. Really do like Sweeney Todd. So if you haven't given this one a shot, I do highly recommend it. Yes, it's Tim Burton and all his stable of actors that he uses time and again, but in a film like this, they work very, very well. It's Johnny Depp's Todd is perfectly deranged, and Mrs. Lovett's obsessive nature comes across great from Helena Bonham Carter. So I can't stress this enough. If you like musicals, or even if you don't, if this movie itself works, even if you took the songs out, it does still feel like a very big budget play almost, but I really enjoyed it. This one was circa 2007, and I believe was generally well received. So I don't see many people talk about it these days, so it's kind of gotten a bit forgotten, I think, but I do recommend it. All right, almost through my list. Sort of, kind of. Got a few still to do, but we'll get in there.